like to open with giving my greatest and deepest respects to His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, the heart and soul of the Tibetan people. I would also like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to the heroes and heroines of Tibet who have given their lives in service of our great nation. On this day, 65 years ago, in the capital city of Lhasa, the people of Tibet rose in unprecedented protest to oppose the illegal invasion and occupation of their homeland. Later, on the 17th of March, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama fled his country in the dark of night into exile into the great land of India. We stand here today on the grounds of one of mankind's greatest achievements, the United Nations, to remind the people of the world, and particularly the government of the People's Republic of China, that the Tibetan people stand stronger and more resilient than ever before in our quest for freedom and justice. Freedom of speech and religion, respect for human rights, and the pursuit of democracy. These common truths are what bind the free people of the world together. However, as we've seen in the saddening recent developments in Kamderge as well as all over Tibet, these truths are not self-evident inside Tibet. On this anniversary of our national uprising, we Tibetans, in our shared responsibility, call upon the United Nations and the other governments and international organizations of the world to lay witness to the genocide in Tibet perpetrated by the Chinese government. To the Tibetan people in Tibet and across the world, I say this: do not lose hope. Our day of return will soon come, but we must, and I stress this, we must stand united. For our foe, our enemy, is not small. Jambe Yishila, who in an act of protest self-immolated in 2012, left behind in his letter in which he wrote, "My fellow Tibetans from the 3 provinces, it is clear to us all that if we unitedly put our strength together, there will be a result. So do not be disheartened. We owe it to him and to all those who have sacrificed their lives for Tibet to fulfill this hope. With unity, we can achieve the unachievable, but without it, we will forever be enslaved." And to the younger Tibetans, including those who are around my age, many of whom, like myself, were born and raised in the United States, I remind you that while we were born in the West or in the United States, our heart and our soul lies inside Tibet. We must learn our history, preserve our language, and continue our traditions. Yesterday, as I contemplated the contents of this speech, I had the pleasure of visiting the offices of some local Tibetan organizations here in New York. And during those visits, I had an overwhelming sense of pride, particularly in the younger, upcoming generations of Tibetans who are not shying away from their responsibilities as Tibetan activists. Many members of our older generation sadly have passed away in exile, but they left this world confident that the new generation would carry the torch. We must fulfill this destiny. Whether in this life or the next, our fight must carry on. Our emotions and determinations cannot exist merely for today, just for today, and fade as time goes on. Our fight is a continuous, ongoing fight. We stand on the shoulders of those who have given their lives for their nation. The sacrifices of those who have come before us cannot be lost in vain. The world must be aware that while the power of the Chinese government may be strong, the power of truth and justice will always be stronger. One day, the current regime of the Chinese People's Republic of China will fall, just like the countless dynasties that came before it. It is not a matter of if, but of when. There is only so much oppression and repression a people can take before the seeds of discontent bloom into the flowers of revolution. The Chinese government hopes that as time progresses, the Tibetan people and our cause will fade into obscurity. However, what they failed to take into account was the indomitable Tibetan spirit. For we, the Tibetan people, are the descendants of the mighty Tibetan kings, sons and daughters of the Tibetan warriors, disciples of the great Nalanda masters, builders of the magnificent Potala Palace, farmers of the Yalung Valley, architects of Tibet's iron bridges, climbers of the vast Himalayan peaks. While we are scattered across this wide world, our culture, our language, our values, our traditions remain preserved and will remain on this earth until the end of history. We will one day return to Tibet, and our mighty snow-lined flag will fly over the Potala Palace once more. The sun will shine, the flowers will bloom, the dark clouds will recede, and an era of peace will radiate inside Tibet. I look forward to seeing you all, my fellow countrymen and women, inside our homeland, Tibet. Today, we march under one flag with one goal, one common purpose. Today, we march for Tibet. Long live His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama, the indestructible, the unchanging, the unceasing, the champion of peace and nonviolence, the heart and soul of the Tibetan people. May the day in which he returns to his rightful golden throne inside the magnificent Potala Palace arrive swiftly. May all his wishes, prayers, and aspirations be fulfilled. May peace in this world prevail, and may evil be vanquished. And may the glorious day when the Tibetans inside and outside Tibet meet once again inside Tibet come once more. Pegi Dagbo Pemi Pagalo! Tujena.